PlayStation. What do you want to know about PlayStation 2012 and 2013 and 2014 and 2020 and
all that
2089 when we apparently can go to space in Prometheus and get eaten by aliens? Oh, is that a spoiler? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Wink. Odd.
Prometheus is awesome, but it looks like Madagascar beat it at the box office this weekend.
I still maintain, when I went to see Prometheus that I haven't seen yet, I was the only person in line to see Prometheus, which I haven't seen yet, and everyone else was seeing Madagascar. I had a genius idea. Let's combine the two. Prometheus. If you put a moose in a CG moose, it would have been fine.
Madagascar?
Ooh. See, this is why he's the EIC.
I guess.
Anyway, so PlayStation, what do you want to learn about? Okay. I liked The Last of Us. I thought The Last of Us looked amazing. But I love Naughty Dog. I do. Yeah. I've loved Naughty Dog since Crash Bandicoot. And it looks amazing. It looks great. Apparently Ellen Page is in that game without being in that game. But
no, they have changed the way that character looks because they did not want her to be recognizable as somebody else. They made her look more like her mocap.
So the people at Sony sat down and said,
we need to change this.
We have too many Ellen Pages
right now.
We cannot cannibalize the Ellen Page audience.
Well, yeah, there's part of that.
That pro-Juno lobby only buys one game a year, and we just can't.
Can't have them do it.
Is Michael Cera going to be in a game?
I think he's an unlockable character in Beyond Two Souls, but it's post DLC. It's called Beyond. Three Souls Indie. It's not. No, he's not in the game.
I was going to say, I don't know if you're being serious or not right now, because I really want a Michael Cera game.
If you really want one, just buy Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim's an excellent game.
It's a little animated version of him, but it's still Michael Cera.
You got me there. Well played, sir.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you seemed not enthused by The Last of Us. Or maybe it was I was just bursting with love.
It looks good, but,
Come on, you shoot hobos in the face with a shotgun.
And you kill people with bricks. I have no problem with this.
I just got to say, Ellen Page, not Ellen Page, she has quite an arm for throwing that brick. When I saw that, though, I think
her name is still Ellie, so if you want to use that.
Ellie, instead of not Ellen Page, that is shorter. Anyway, that was my one problem with the Uncharted games, is that Sully and Alina, and even Chloe in the second game, when you were around them, they were never a major part of the battle. The only time I could think that I really depended on them for backup was in Uncharted 2, where you're holding the camera guy. Spoiler for a game that came out 2 years ago that you should have already played. And that's the only time I depended on them for backup. And it seemed like this character in Last of Us, she basically flanked that guy and threw a brick in his face.
Yeah. But, we don't have any actual... we have gameplay footage, but none of us have any hands-on with it.
Well, none of us have hands-on with anything.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to see on that.
What is this, another Skyrim game?
No, it's... Did you ever play...
It's like Uncharted.
Ico? Yeah, it's like Uncharted, but you have a teenage girl
that follows you around. It's like Uncharted with zombies and a constant escort mission, but it looks like she could probably take care of herself.
Yeah.
Which they didn't show zombies, which I thought was an interesting choice. To kind of play up...
everything else has zombies in it, so why not?
Well, yeah, but it was interesting, a choice on the development studio's part to play up this other aspect of survivors of this apocalypse against each other.
Did you guys watch the finale of Game of Thrones?
No. I don't have HBO.
White Walkers.
Why? They spoiled it in the Microsoft conference.
White Walkers. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just saying White Walkers.
I don't care.
White Walkers.
I don't care.
Okay, so what else? We talked about Beyond Two Souls, which I'm excited about because I was excited about Heavy Rain. It got my wife's attention, which only one other thing got my wife's attention. And it looks interesting. Although it was funny to hear them talk about we're this voice capture. We wanted a real actress, and we're really going to put her in the game. We're really going to put her in the show. And then the scene they showed, she didn't speak at all, which was odd.
Well, but she is supposedly doing all the voicing, and I don't know if she's doing the mocap or not. But
I believe she is, because they showed that shot of her with the little stuff on her face, which kudos to that girl for
putting all that, dealing with that. And obviously they've done the face scan, probably not to the level of L.A. Noire, where they put her in a little room and had all these lights on, and they had 80 cameras looking at her face, but they could have.
I think Heavy Rain looks better than L.A. Noire, and I think by the time we see Beyond Two Souls, which is supposedly next spring, which is the same time we'll see Last of Us, supposedly,
Does Last of Us has Ellen Page?
No.
No.
Okay.
Beyond has Ellen Page.
Beyond
Okay.
has Ellen Page. Last of Us has not Ellen Page.
Yeah, it's another girl.
It's named Ellie. Like, could you just name her like
You guys are massively
Amy,
confused.
because I think the girl that's doing the most acting is Amy. I did see an article, I don't know where, that basically stated that they didn't want the character to look like her. Once they realized,
that was
oh, she
on
looks like
Kotaku's
her,
next.
then we're going to change it so that she looks different and
Yes.
not like somebody who's already famous.
And I think the trailer for Beyond Two Souls looked very interesting, and never make Ellen Page angry because she will bring a helicopter down on top of you.
Yeah, the plot line is she's got some sort of guardian spirit type thing.
Something. She talks to him.
That helps her survive this
But it's
game.
it's early. This is the first we're hearing of it. It was a new and exciting thing. Sadly, it leaked a little bit before the press conference. Although when I first read it, I was like, "There's no way Ellen Page is going to be in a freaking video game." The other thing that got my wife's attention, and the thing that got everybody's attention that doesn't care about video games,
The Wonder Book?
the Wonder Book.
The Wonder Book. Is this the smart glass for PlayStation?
No, well,
No, that could be just the Vita with cross controller. But
yeah, the Wonder Book is.
is it AR?
Have you seen Reading Rainbow? No. The Wonder Book is it looks like a notebook with AR codes in it, and it reads the AR codes. And they announced it, and they showed it, and I was not interested. I didn't care.
It looks kind of cool.
And then they said, and the first book is by J.K. Rowling, supposedly in the Harry Potter universe, although we didn't
probably
say,
an
we didn't-
offshoot of
yeah.
some minor character,
we
like
didn't
Neville's
say
Summer Off.
Harry Potter. No one said Harry
But it
Potter.
was all showing magic stuff,
and
it
the
had a Harry
spells
Potter
sounded similar,
Yeah.
and
Brought
it's
to
a storybook
life
for kids
in an exciting new way.
they can play
with
on the TV.
Pottermore.
And that's cool. And the coolest
And
thing about it
now,
was
A
we all
brand
hated
new
it,
experience for
and
PlayStation
the next
3,
day it's on
featuring
Bloomberg
brand
Business
new
Report,
writing
Yeah.
from J.K.
which
Rowling.
nothing else from the show really got that level of exposure
that
as
has
the
to
Bloomberg
be
Business
seen.
Report.
Yeah.
And it was
to be
basically
believed.
because
Images simulated.
Wonder Book,
Actual
blah, blah,
game
blah, blah,
images
blah.
appear on your television.
J.K.
With the
Rowling
spells
has a new
sold
Harry
separately
Potter
from
thing
the
coming.
PS2 system.
Yeah.
That was the
PlayStation
main
iCamera,
story. It was
PlayStation
about
View
her.
features.
Genius marketing.
Discover.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the demo didn't work, and I felt bad for the poor lady.
Yeah.
But it's a move game.
What is it?
Sort of
What
a move
is
game.
it?
It's like a...
With
It's a
Sony.
notebook with AR codes, and the PlayStation Eye looks at the notebook and superimposes stuff on the AR codes, like
okay.
different spells and I thought it was basically the holodeck version of a pop-up book.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Is the
Like the coolest pop-up book that you also have to buy a $300 video
Console
setup
for,
for. I thought the biggest news out of Sony's press conference was PlayStation Plus.
with the 12 free games a year
Mm-hmm.
and all that. And that was something you and me were talking about last week, where
Yeah.
they need to do something with PlayStation Plus, and they only hit one of your three
I
deals,
had three things set out. My first thing was they have this OnLive partnership now, OnLive or Gakkai, and I was like, they need to stream. They need to have streaming video games, and if they could stream old PlayStation 2 games to your system, and you would have the entire back catalog of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, that would be a win. We didn't get anything on streaming, which leads me to believe Orbis,
Who's gonna have
PlayStation
that? The
4,
PS4.
the thing that we're not supposed to talk about that we all know is happening, will have something with streaming in it.
So they didn't talk about PlayStation 4 at all?
No, neither of them talked about that at all.
There was a spot at the end of their press conference, and they were basically like, we know where we've been, we know where we are, the future is looking bright, we've got people working on it, but they showed nothing.
Yeah.
It was basically lip service, and it was because Microsoft didn't show anything,
They
and Microsoft didn't show anything because Sony wasn't going to show anything.
And they kind of want to see how the Wii U is going to do this year.
Yes.
Also, they want to see what they're up against with Nintendo.
Well, I think they saw what they're up against with Nintendo.
No, but I mean as far as like sales figures and whatnot.
Well, yeah, but I think they saw because Jack Tretton and Don Matrick, they've both sat down with a Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
They know
They've
what
sat
it is.
down and played with
They,
it. And,
they understand what they're up against, and I don't think they're afraid.
well, no, I mean from a technical aspect, the Wii U is probably about where both of those systems are right now.
Yes. There's maybe a little bit more power. We hope there's more power into the Wii U hood.
Well, every game from what something I read this afternoon or yesterday. It's only going to display 720 right off. And it's gonna be 60 frames unless you're using 2 of the Wii U tablet.
Well, 60
controllers.
frames on the let's not
60
talk about Nintendo yet.
Yeah,
Let's leave that for a
but
bit.
there's not as much there as they'd like to think.
So the other thing I said with PlayStation Plus is they need to have better integration across different platforms. So Sony is in a unique position. They have a TV business. They have, MP3. They have everything. And I was like, if you sold PlayStation Plus with a concurrent subscription to Music Unlimited, like I sign up for PS Plus, I get into Music Unlimited,
Which you can use on your Sony MP3 player,
the
your
Sony
Vita.
phone, everything.
Yeah.
It would have been better. And the third thing I said, which is the one that happened, I was like, they need to start giving away free boxed retail games. I'm not talking about new, day one. I'm talking like a game that is 6 or 7 months old.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what they're doing.
That's what they did.
TV's Chris Allen.
They don't know that. They don't know who
Some
that
people
is.
don't know that. Some people who live in this area will know that.
And now they know where we are and where we live.
They'll Google Chris Allen and we'll be like, now we have to change our location.
Yeah, now I'm in witness protection. I can no longer, the mafia is going to come get me. Thank you. Anyway, they did. The most recent game, I believe, is Ratchet & Clank All for One, which I haven't played yet, but it spent the better part of 2 days downloading.
Yeah, well, PS Plus, the PSN is not the fastest thing ever.
No,
I always have problems. With them
all those
downloading
PlayStation Plus members downloading 50 gigs of content
at once.
kind of brought the system to its knees. Yeah. But it's a step in the right direction, and I think if you're a person like you that doesn't have the large game library that I have, or a person like you that doesn't hardly have any game library, I think it gives a reason to buy into PlayStation Plus.
Well, yeah, because
and to buy into the network. Because once if you sell the PlayStation with a free month of PlayStation Plus, they're going to go online to get these 12 free, basically rented games that you can play for a month. And they'll go onto the store and they'll see the stuff on the store, and maybe they'll come back and maybe they'll buy more stuff, and maybe they'll see, well, it's not on PlayStation Plus, but I really want Dyad. I think the Vita does a great job of, when you pop up the little app for the PlayStation Store, it shows you stuff that is both on the video side and the game side. And I think it drives purchases. And I think it's smart on Sony's part to do this. My worry is when the PlayStation 4 arrives, are they going to continue this freebie fire sale for PlayStation 4 games?
They might. They'll probably work in some sort of emulation for PS3 games on it, some backwards compatibility, and you'll get all of that. But when it first launches, you probably won't get any free
like
PS4 games. You'll have to wait, probably a year before they actually start allowing you to do that, or 6 months.
Sifting stuff out.
You get some launch titles 6 months after for free.
So let's hit some of these pretty quick because we're running out of stuff to talk that was shown at the press conference, and I want to talk about some of the stuff that we didn't see. God of War Ascension, what'd you think?
As far as the single player goes, it's what? Prequel to all the games?
Supposedly this takes place after, spoiler for a game that's been out for a while, after Kratos kills his wife and daughter, and before Chains of Olympus.
So it's a prequel to all the games because Kratos kills his wife and daughter before.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I'm not sure about the time-bending mechanic that's in the game, where you can freeze time and jump around and do all that.
Oh, you gotta think of something new to put in there.
Yeah. But
I didn't think it looked horrible.
No, it looks good.
It didn't make me go, oh, time.
It's like they just redid, God of War 3 with new mechanics.
Yeah, but it still looks
good.
good. It looks great. It looks better than God of War 3.
Yeah, and it looks good from what I've seen. The multiplayer doesn't interest me at all.
It is the only God of War. It is the only game that I know of that you can cut the brain out of an elephant man.
Whoa.
So far,
You had me at elephant man.
That
was the end of the single player demo that they showed.
And we are now to the point in our generation where we now have brain physics.
Yay, brain physics. Well, they just talked to Team Ninja and got some jiggle physics.
It's just the boob physics, but a little more watery.
Yeah.
So I think it looks good. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah,
I've liked all the other God of War games. It's the same core team. The one thing I've liked about the God of War games is that they keep changing up directors.
Yeah. Poor Jaffe.
So they don't get stagnant.
Yeah,
Don't
every
be
game
poor
has
Jaffe.
well, yeah, but he doesn't.
Everybody loves David Jaffe except the sizable portion of the population who hates David Jaffe.
And women, because apparently Jaffe's mean to women.
Wow. He's David Jaffe.
Yeah, no.
He
That's
made
a
Twisted
joke.
Metal.
I
Like,
don't think David Jaffe really hates women.
no. David Jaffe seems like a cool guy. Please
Yeah.
don't yell at us at Twitter, David Jaffe. So they also showed PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which has Kratos from God of War and Drake and the Big Daddy from BioShock.
And Parappa the Rappa and Fat Princess.
And I'm sure
Sly
80
Cooper.
other characters that we're going to hear about
There'll be
once
DLC.
a week.
Yeah, they'll have like bi-weekly DLC for this thing. It's like, oh, here, you get this new guy. You get this new guy. Oh, here's Jemmer Lammy.
I think it looks fun. I think it looks interesting. I think it looks as fun as
Smash
Smash
Bros.
Brothers. I think it looks just like Smash Brothers with a Sony characters. And
Smash Brothers, but for PlayStation.
Basically, yeah.
But here's the thing, and like that's a bad thing. One, like I said before, if you're gonna ape something, ape the best people. And I would rather play with a vast majority of the PlayStation character base than the kind of C squad that Nintendo digs out.
like Marth and Time Launch.
Yes, like let's be honest, like I like the Fire Emblem games, but no one does it. Like,
Yeah.
like everyone's like, oh, I want to be Mario, I want to be Luigi, I want to be, you know,
Wario.
I think my wife is Daisy because Daisy has Reddit. I think that's
And where's a yellow dress called Angel?
yes.
I bet Parappa the Rapper is gonna just kick everybody's ass.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hope. I hope
How
against
is he
hope.
not like the end boss or something?
Well, I think the end boss is a disembodied Kaz Hirai head that just screams at you, Ridge Racer!
It will be full of memes.
I mean, there's gonna Kevin Butler
whatnot.
is gonna be a playable character. We're sure it's not
Yeah.
announced, but
or
it's
he might be
gonna
a
happen.
boss-esque character or like a Easter egg guy. In
Like
the
I think the
background.
interesting part, a lot like the interesting part when they brought Smash Brothers Melee out is, or Brawl, it was Brawl. They all bleed together after a while.
It's the
Is
same game.
what character do you want to see? And I think looking back on the PlayStation life cycle or the universe it's built, I would love to see Alucard.
They could do that, but I
mean,
think they'd have to get the okay from Konami to
Well,
do
yeah,
it.
but I mean, they've already got the okay for Big Daddy. You know they're going after these things. And I would really like to see Alucard.
Well,
I would like to
we'll
see
have
Alucard. I'd like to see Solid Snake.
Solid Snake seems like a big.
Well, he was
given.
already in Smash Brothers.
Raise your
once, though.
hand if you don't think Cloud is going to be in this game.
He probably will.
Cloud,
Squeenix will allow Cloud and probably Sephiroth or Tifa to be in this game.
I mean, like, it makes sense.
Well, yeah, but we have to
And
wait
Sony's
and see.
gonna go after this, but I mean, but at this point, this is the best part of these type of games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anything you want to say on All Stars before we get into what we didn't see at the press conference?
You missed out on something big and for your favorite little system.
Well, that's what I'm about to talk about. We didn't see a lot of my favorite little system.
No, we didn't, but they
I
did
feel- I-
announce
I feel like my
Ask Creed
Vita-
3
Yes.
Liberation for the Vita.
Which looks great. It looks
It
like
almost
Ask
makes
Creed.
me want to buy a Vita.
Yes.
Almost. But that
And
is
it
not
will
enough to
supposedly
make me spend
have
$250
some
on
sort of interplay
it. With the
main game.
It'll probably be something silly like costumes, or your assassins can go back and forth if they have the whole brotherhood
Or maybe
thing.
there's like a scene where like Connor, who's in Assassin's Creed, on the
shows
home
up in
console
Baton Rouge for a week and then goes back to the
or
Northeast.
something, or like there's like I don't know, I'm
A little bit of
it's
interaction
Ubis-
between
It's
them.
Ubisoft, like
Yeah, I know.
they could both wake up in the Animus and it's both Desmond.
He's having two
Like
two congruent
it's
experiences.
Desmond's first transvestite flashback. Like who knows? But
Yeah.
it looks really cool. It looks really good, and the controls are different. They have interesting touch mechanics built in, which the touchscreen on the Vita is severely underused. But what else did we see for the Vita?
Nothing that was at the press conference.
Yes, and it was interesting because
Well, the cross-controller stuff. They talked about
we
that.
cross controller stuff. We saw All Stars running on the Vita. We saw the Sly Cooper game on the Vita. But we got a Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified logo.
Which hey,
nothing else.
look, now you get COD on the go.
Yes, which I'm sure COD on the go. I'm sure people are going to buy. I'm sure people are going to love it. I'm sure it's going to be a standard COD game.
Yeah.
But we didn't see anything from it.
No.
And it's been a rumor for the past few years that part of Microsoft's exclusivity with those download packs has been the you can't show COD at other press conferences.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been Sony
Part of the problem, yeah.
bumped into that area. But, and the flip side was, there was a ton of Vita stuff on the floor. There was a great Vita stuff that I'm excited for. Guacamelee looks amazing.
Yeah.
Kind of a Castlevania-ish weird game.
It sounds like guacamole.
And that's the point.
That's the point. You get to be a luchador.
Oh, so it's extremely racist.
Not necessarily. But
Apparently
okay.
they have a Mexican guy working at the studio, so that
So
makes
it's okay.
okay.
not
Makes
racist.
it okay
Makes it
because
cool.
he was there.
And Little Big Planet Vita, Sound Shapes, what else did we do? Retro City Rampage, which continues to look like probably going to be my favorite game of next year.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, Zen Pinball 2, finally for the Vita, even though they told us we were going to get it by the end of May, and it's June and I don't have it yet. But we didn't get a lot of Vita, and the good guys at IGN apparently cornered Shuei Yoshida, the head of Sony's development studios, and said, why no Vita during the press conference if there's tons of Vita at
We
the
had to
show?
cut it for time because we didn't have enough
Well,
to talk about the Vita.
No, he apparently said we wanted to talk about it, and the marketing people said no. You have to focus on this stuff.
Why?
Okay.
If you want the Vita to succeed, you need to talk about stuff for it. A lot of people will only watch the press conference.
Yeah. Well,
And then they're like, oh, well, there's nothing coming out for the Vita. They must be declaring it dead.
Yeah, this next week kind of went on, and stuff trickled out, and we got
Yeah.
good stuff. And there's a lot of stuff they didn't show at the press conference that I really liked. I mean, Ni no Kuni, which Wrath of the White Witch, which is like probably a game built with me in mind. It's level 5 in Studio Ghibli's, I guess collaboration. And it looks fun, it looks interesting, it looks like an old school RPG, which level 5 does wonderfully well. And
Yeah.
where was it at the press conference? We got Far Cry 3. Yay.
Yay. But, Far Cry 3 looks really good.
And I do have to say the Assassin's Creed 3 ship naval battle stuff looks awesome, and I'm
We'll have to
even
see how that
more
plays
excited
out.
for the game.
No, I'm already going to buy that game anyway. I've played most of the other ones, so.
So like we said before, Sony and Microsoft kind of took a back seat and let Nintendo take the lead, and Nintendo led somewhere.
But it was not where we thought they would go.